So with 3 days off, I'm going to attempt to firstly seal up what we patched up last episode on the Ningi Nugget. Then I'm going to attempt the rusty floor pan. We'll see if we can attack that. I will attempt to get the paint on the bonnet and the doors, and we'll see what else we can get done. Stay tuned. As you can see, I'm also now sporting a very fashionable buzz cut. Just had to be done. So be it. Let's get to work. All the patchwork is now filled. I'm pretty happy with that. Got to let that cure before I can do anything else in these areas. I'm not going to do any welding until that is nice and hard. Oh, of course I've got to paint it as well, so I've got to remember I've got to do that before I weld those up. I'll come back when it's cured. So the really obvious stuff has now been sealed up, all nice and waterproof. I'm now going to throw on some rust guard paint. I was going to use the KBS, the similar stuff I used on the chassis. That's a lot of rooting around. I've got some epoxy enamel here, some rust guard. I'm going to spray that in those areas, both sides, and I'm also going to spray up under this chamber here because it's old. Got access, I'll give it a shot. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to take the sheet metal, we're going to grind off the gal, and we're going to weld up those little access panels. That should make things back to normal. And I have started on the floor. If you have a look under the truck, we can see a lot of rust. I have started to play in there. Yesterday I didn't film it, it's boring shit. Anyway, I've scratched that down. I'll show you later what I'm going to do with that. I've also started unpicking or drilling through the where the panels have been spot welded, as well as taking some of the sealer out. So I'm starting to work on that side as well. Happy days. A bit awkward to get in there. I was speaking to a cousin of mine during the week who has done a lot of fabrication work over the years, and he was telling me the best way to zip up those access panels. I thought I could just fold it down and weld it. He suggests creating a little panel. I've got to put them in place and tack them behind the cuts, fold the flap down over the top, and then I can literally weld straight through it, or straight through the middle of it. So then what I'll do is I'll have this sitting in here somehow. I don't know how I'm going to get it in there. Right. And then I'll drill a hole each side so it touches this metal. Then I tack and hold it there so it stays in place, one at the bottom, one at the top. Then I can weld the flap down. You'll see. That means I'm going to have to tinker with some metal for a little bit until I get it right. I'm just trying to get the shape right, the angle of the dangle. I'm going to take the gal off these strips that I've cut. So they're ready to go in. Now I've got to sand on the truck. Let's see how we go with that. I'm using the drill and the wire wheel because my sander got caught in here and buckled and twisted out of my hand, and nearly did myself a pretty bad mischief there. So yeah, we're not going to use that. That's what I'm going to do, like that. I've got it. I tried to do it the way my cousin had explained, and I can see how it works a lot better, but I don't have, the gal is just a pain in the ass. Even though I've sanded it, it's still not tacking correctly. So I've just gone and closed the panel. I'm having to bridge it with the welder. It's not the greatest, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it back, or grind it back, and then I'm going to use the panel bond as well to finish sealing it up. It should look okay. I don't think I'm going to show you just yet, because it's ugly.
Eventually.
I have welded as much as I think I can weld, and I've ground it down so it looks reasonably okay. If I keep going, I'm just going to create a molten lava mess. I'll show you what I've done. Don't say anything. So this side was close enough that I could actually bridge the gap, but we got too much space here, and there's just too much space here for the metal thickness to try and weld it. I could keep tacking, but I just end up with massive blobs. So I'm going to leave it. It's firm, it's not going anywhere. It's moving the whole truck. I will use the panel bond to fill that up. Should work oakley dokley, we hope. Driver's side is completed now as best I can do. I actually had it come up pretty good. This tacked up real nice, but then I went for one more tack and I changed the settings slightly and burnt a hole in it. So that's going to stay as it is. And this side came out not too bad at all, considering. Anyway, that's my second ever real welding attempt. I'm going to try and let it dry again tonight because I've got a lot of contaminants in here now. And I have painted it all in there and everything. I don't want to leave those contaminants in there after welding and grinding. That can all turn to small bits of rust again, which we don't want in there. So I'm going to let it dry, maybe rinse it out actually, let it dry overnight, and I might even spray another coat of the rust guard over the top of that. I tell you, it does make me feel very useless when I can't do something properly. Look, it's welded up, it's enough to hold it. I'm not overly concerned that it looks a bit ugly. It'll be under the guard anyway. Truth be known, it's not structural, and I could have probably cut the flap out altogether. Just doesn't feel like it's happening, folks. I was happy and proud the other day. As soon as I get to the welder, I just ain't got it. When you do something and then you find out that you're shit at it, it sort of brings your whole spirit down. I'm going to keep trying and learning, but I thought I could do a bit better job than that today on the welding. I thought I could do it the way my cousin was talking about, but I need better steel, better sheet metal. I could have gone back down to Bunnings again, and I'll make it look good, but it just bugs me. I'm going to call it a day. Tomorrow we're going to move on to those, the bog on the doors. There's those holes, remember, from the mirrors. And there's a couple of spots on the bonnet here that I have noticed since I've put the undercoat on it. So we'll move on those tomorrow. And we might try and pick that floor pan out on the driver's side. See you tomorrow. For those of you who know me, you know that basically I've wound up my business. Haven't sold it, I've had interest. I'm waiting to hear back from a particular interested party. It's been 2 weeks. Good sign, bad sign, I don't know. But I'm just not booking people anymore. I'm moving back towards my trade. I was a concreter for many years. I can't ignore the money I earn from it and the flexibility it gives me to have days off because I earn the money. So that's what I'm doing now. I've got a job tomorrow and one on Friday. So I've got Tuesday off this week and Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. I've got my weekends back. So that means I can do a lot more. Hopefully, and not get lazy instead of my fat ass. Few things have happened. I have sanded the door. Let's have a look. Door is sanded, and I have started on the floor. I've run the die grinder with the cutting disc from underneath. There's actually an overlap here which is going to be helpful for me. So the new floor pan will run up onto the good floor pan here, the one that runs up the firewall. So I'm trying to pick this off here so that I can lay the new one over top and I've got something to weld to. I will cut along the ridge here on the left, and this is going to be a little awkward along here, so I'm thinking I'll cut it in tight first, like small, then I can drill out the welds and try and remove that. Anyway, so that's got progress, and I have started to bog up a little better the holes and bumps and things on the doors. On the bonnet we had 2 little holes I wasn't happy with, so we fixed those. We've bogged those. We call it bog over here. I don't know what you guys, I think Americans call it filler, body filler. I don't know what the Poms call it, but we call it bog. We're gonna bog it up. So I've done that. Now I'm starting on the windscreen. Wish me luck. I've got myself a nice sharp knife. We are going to put it in this little groove here. That's that little void there, and we're gonna slide that down. It's pretty easy actually. A little bit of pressure there. All right, I'm going to keep doing that all the way around bit by bit, and then we're going to start pulling on it. I managed to put a snick in this, and I've started to pull on the rubber, and the bottom here is actually coming out quite well. I might leave the bottom because I don't want the screen to slide down. This here, where I've cut, I don't know if it's going to work the way I want it to, or... Ooh. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, see if I cut that, I should be able to then, by cutting this, I can remove this part of the rubber, and then I can pop the windscreen rubber out nice and easy. Cool, that works. We're going to keep going. There is rust, more holes. If you can see it or not, we've got a hole through there. Couple of holes in here, and let's have a look up top. It's actually not too bad. A little bit, yeah, look at that. We have a hole up top too. That's why we do these things. There's a hole, all right. Crunchy and a hole. Things can only get better. Can only get better. Hello. So when that windscreen comes out, I'm happy. This side is actually very good. That's one less drama to worry about. I've done 3 days, about 4 or 5 hours a day. It's what I want to do. It's how I enjoy it. But it is a long, tedious task. If I can learn to get over this hurdle, conquering these things, pretty much a lot of cars would be less of a challenge and cheaper to buy and make more money fixing them. I'm going to have to glue something in the top there, clean that right out. I hope I haven't gone through inside. Right, so this is what I'm just a little concerned that this is going to be affected. The hood liner, yeah, it's going to be a fair bit of rust up here. You can see the rust stain there, but that's literally right above the light. Years of rusting away. We'll try and clean that, but yeah, it needs a fair bit of love and attention. So we've got our floor pan laid out. I have marked a nice straight line. I don't know if I'll cut a straight line, but we've marked that up, and we've marked down the side here, so that'll be my template, and I will cut inside 10-15 mil smaller. That way I've got room to trim it up and butt it up, because I want to be butt welding those panels together. All right, another day, another dollar. Ciao.